Wait for it. Wait for it. Wait for it. Hello everyone and welcome to Devil May Cry 5. Just like last time that I streamed, I'm a bit tired, but I'm actually going to be able to muscle through this. But let's start off by saying one thing. This is going to be a lot more different than the fighting games because I'm not going to have to deal with playing against other people. I bet that's Elijah. Give me a second, let me check my phone. Whoever just now commented hello and good evening. I don't have the YouTube stream open automatically. Oh jeez, this is just gonna do that thing that it usually does. It's gonna go into the fucking cinematic real quick. I may as well speak with the cinematics on for a moment, because I'm actually, before I actually started, I was trying to debate on what I was gonna do, whether it be Bloody Palace or missions and whatnot. Simon says if you win, I give you $10. Simon says end the stream. How is that even winning? End the stream for $10. Yeah, how did you get those $10? Someone just said, as I was streaming, end the stream. Really? So someone said jump off the bridge, you just take $10? Now you see my IQ. You don't win. Okay then. So here's the gist of this. I was probably gonna do this on Sunday, but I got tired. I didn't want to do shit. I will give you it through Money Saver. I forgot that Money Saver is an app. There's so many apps that are used to actually send money. But either way, I had the idea of doing this literally as I was doing the stream on Saturday. Yeah, it's good that I come up with more ideas. Fuck it, I'll actually just skip this, because I'm just gonna go right into it. But either way, yeah, let's actually get into some gameplay here. Oh, now 2 watchers, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Just skip this. Money Saver ain't an app at all. What is it, like a website? I bet it's a website. My first thing that I have done before was actually defeating Urizen, which is basically the boss in the beginning of the game. I could attempt to just defeat him, or I could go for Bloody Palace. Because I'm in all honesty, I kind of have to warm up. But one thing I was considering was actually, it's not even real. Okay, it's not even real. That's cool. Well, still thanks. I guess $10 to whatchamacallit, through moral support. $10 worth of moral support. How about that? But nevertheless, I think I have my idea set in stone. So first, I'm gonna actually do missions. Just one of them, where I actually fight Goliath, and then after that, I'll be going into Bloody Palace. I would fight Urizen, but he's kind of difficult to deal with. I'll fight Goliath on, I guess so far. Yeah, I may as well do so Devil Hunter, but the thing is that this is a lot harder. I usually use Nero with his super version. This can be a bit difficult than before. So you know, I just toned it down a little bit, at least, instead of going OD. In all honesty. Just getting myself just cooked and ready.
That's it. No more wheels from here.
Alright, guess I'm walking then.
Yo, yo, yo. Check it out.
What? And this is?
From Morrison. I think it's his manifesto.
P.S. If anyone is actually new to this, This is basically the second to this is the third mission that's going on in the game.
Hey, we doing this or what?
If anything, eventually I could probably just show off a little bit of
I'm waiting on you.
whatchamacallit.
I'm cooking. Any special orders?
I could just showcase the actual cinematics so people can understand what's going on. But that's only if it's from request, in all honesty. The main gist of this is just you gotta just fight enemies. I would use a super version, but that's kind of a cheat in my case. It'll just be like fighting bots on Call of Duty and whatnot. And I'm here to actually kind of get used to this right now. So I may as well just do that. The thing with my character is that I also have all of the powers too, which is actually a benefit in my behalf also. And over here is these arms that you can use that can grant special abilities when you use them and whatnot. So just give me a moment to just like add all of them for a moment. Some of them can just end up probably giving you a power up. Some of them could just be a very powerful attack. You know, it's whatever the case may be. Now, this is a very unorthodox set that I used to. I usually used to just use this blue one over here because it's just ambiguous lightning. Like you just slapped him with a lightning claw. But other than that, I'm going to save that there. And let's get into it. We're going to go after Goliath. At least for some of these cinematics, people will still kind of understand what the gist of the game is from it too, if anyone's new to it. So let's go. Oh, there was another thing I kind of wanted to say. On a side note, PS5 has been released since about 2 days ago, if not yesterday. And Devil May Cry 5 has been released with the fact that, whatchamacallit, the fact that it has a legendary Dark Knight mode, and also the fact that it's got, hang on, I was trying to do something. It's also got a couple other things, like the fact that Virgil is in the game. There's other Bloody Palace modes. That's just about it so far. Maybe other skins and whatnot. But I think with the one thing that makes it important is the fact that it has a legendary Dark Knight mode. And what that is actually the fact that it's a mode where you literally just fight about hundreds and hundreds of enemies at once. I'd say that it's pretty fun. And so far, I'm presuming that it's only for PS5, which I would say that it's not entirely fair. But hey, you know, I'll just deal with it. Now in here, I'm not going to go after any of the currency in this game because I really do not need to. Like, I can just get it for free and whatnot. But here we are. Let's begin. Now, needless to say, one thing is that I'm also kind of used to this. But I do have to get used to one thing. Oh my god, that is embarrassing. I do have to get used to one thing, the controls. The few things I actually had to get used to is the fact that your sword can actually light up on fire if you time L2 correctly, which is one thing, including for the lock-on. I nearly forgot about that also. Whoops, I tried to actually use the superpower over there. Alright, fine then. Okay, well now, that was one thing so far. I kind of wasted those arms and I could have used them to my benefit. I'll get them back regardless, though. I said I wasn't going to go after any of the currency. Okay, then. The funny thing is I barely see people that actually use that. Another thing that I haven't showcased so far is Nero's transformation, which is another thing that also is kind of cool too. That was a bit embarrassing. I was trying to actually go down. Right then. Like I said, I was just getting used to the controls. I haven't played this in about a few months now at this point. What game have I been playing where I've been trying to like lock on with L2? I'm trying to actually think. And I think that that's Darksiders 2. Probably so. Because Darksiders 2, that was a game where you had to lock on with L2.
Not making it easy for me, huh?
I also know that someone's been texting on the live chat so far, and I haven't seen what's been coming up for some reason. I don't know what's happening there. I guess you just gotta give it some time. That was a bad idea. That was also a bad idea, but I'll deal with it. Reason so, because of the fact that when I do that and that I put them in that lock on, I'm more like, yeah, like that. I was more vulnerable to be attacked in general. Damn it, I tried to actually jump out of that. There we go, there's one. Got him. That's also another thing, the fact that he has taunts too. Some taunts that are pretty stylish also. Whoops. I'm just gonna take this on. And these just gonna be two enemies that spawn down over here if I break this, so. Alright, I think that's overkill, but whatever, it don't matter. This is going to be a cinematic where you see V over here, and literally his name is just the letter V. But whatever.
Looks like I'm gonna make it there before you do, V.
Oh, by the way, when someone actually is in the cinematic as another character, you can actually probably see someone using the character, and in that moment you're actually seeing someone using them. Instead of him actually appearing in the cinematic, he was kind of just walking away. But yeah, those are the enemies, well, not enemies, those are his, what you would call servitors, or service drones that he uses to go against the enemies. It's kind of really not in any sort of... There he goes. Now he's actually visible. Slightly, though. Now he's away from the camera again. Alright, that's whatever. But yeah, that's actually an actual person that's playing as him. And he's back on screen once again. Up until the point he's not, maybe. I don't know. And that was a bad idea. I was trying to see who's the person who's using him. His name was Bob Wayne. So yeah, that is an actual person. Interesting. Good to see that people actually still play this game. I gotta stop trying to lock on with L1 or L2. It's just R1. Really? Okay.
Yeah, I can make this work.
I hope that I'm gonna be ready to actually go against Goliath if this is gonna keep on happening. At least one thing that's gonna be okay is the fact that when I do go against him, I'm gonna be able to arm myself with whatever gadgets that I can get. Unfortunately, I couldn't showcase the one with the lightning arms. I'm probably just gonna have to do that later on. Over here is Gerbera, and that's something that you can use to just hop around, and it actually causes damage. It's like an impulse reaction. So, you know, it's like a force push.
Which way did I come from again?
It's gonna be an enemy that comes around the corner after I break this. Not much of an enemy, but more like a currency bank. Alright. And also over here too. Oh, there's another Gerbera. That's good. Over here is going to be more enemies up here also. The funny thing is that these enemies did not appear when you would just play this in a normal difficulty, which is actually pretty interesting in my case. Alright, there's going to be a couple more. And these are also the ones that have a little bit of armor when you knock them back. Whoops, tried to jump there. Okay then, that shot killed him. That's good. But one thing I gotta remember is actually remember to first of all load the bullets, because when you do load your gun, you actually have even more like powerful shots, including that you can even charge your shot here also, which I should have not done. Let me see if I can like... No, I couldn't, because you can also shoot when you dodge also over here. Give me a second. There we go. You might need to attack to be able to stop yourself from actually shooting. I gotta remember to also use Exceed, which is the thing that lights your sword here on fire and whatnot. And that's just about it when it comes to, like, functions of using the character. With Dante's, I wouldn't say that it's easier, but it's a lot different and a little bit more understanding. I'm actually going to charge up this Gerbera over here. When you do it in the air, that's what happens, but when you do it on the floor, he actually just shoots a laser, just entirely. There's going to be more than just this one, right over here. Let me showcase that one more time. Oh, if you can also continuously press square, you continuously shoot him too. Which is interesting.
Who's up next?
That was a taunt that actually recharges his shots too. But yeah, all these integrations with the character are pretty interesting. It kind of requires you to be stylish and using a lot of taunts and whatnot. I said that I wasn't going to try to like go after the currency that often, but that's my one accident, actually. Well, in case you're wondering why that happened, this just appears out of nowhere too. And this is the area where there's a secret mission too. This basically the first or the third mission tries to actually teach people what's going on in the game and what to search for and stuff like that. There's actually a place where you can get whatchamacallits, blue orbs, and basically it's the currency that you can use to make your character have a higher amount of health. I actually show it over here. I was thinking about doing so, but I was like, that probably requires for people to just search it up, but I may as well just show it here.
That was the Force fault, not mine.
Oh jeez, I smashed it so many times before that it's already been like ready to break. Alright, so over here where this thing is moving around, it's actually a currency over here. But generally speaking, that's where the blood orb would, or the blue orb would be. So that's one thing that can help people out in case they ever do come back here for the sake of looking for things, and if they look at this by accident, maybe. Alright, over here in this next room there's going to be more enemies. You see, now if this were legendary Dark Knight mode, this would be about like 50 of them in here. Hopefully I don't get attacked while doing this. I wasn't. Perfect. Nope, that was a bad idea. I tried to actually parry that just now. Damn it.
Getting really sick of this stupid trick.
I'm thinking that I should probably add subtitles. You know what? Yeah, I'm screwed. I'm definitely gonna do that. There we go. Okay, let's go. Oh, rawhide. Now this weapon's a little bit different. It's a chain. And that's really just about it. I'll show it over here. From that, I'm literally pressing O. I think this weapon is about possibly my favorite. Not when it comes to damage, but I think when it comes to like stylish like action. Because of the fact it also has a lot of long range. But also that lightning strike also has a lot of long range too. But the thing is, this is about a lot faster, including that it's not taxing like the others could be. Alright, so carrying on.
Oh man, getting sick of this.
The reason I haven't sprinted yet is because of the fact that I know that enemies are around, so the character doesn't do much. There we go, now he's sprinting. When it shows you placing the gateway key into the next door, I'm just gonna skip that because it can just be a little bit distracting. These are enemies that you saw earlier, because this is whatchamacallit? Because this is basically I believe Son of Sparta mode, if I'm right. Yeah, Son of Sparta. Because of that, then that means that there's going to be different enemies that spawn sometimes. Also, another way to be able to handle these enemies, whatchamacallit, armor that they usually have when they try to come at you, like right over here. Actually, they're gonna just probably die. There he goes. He has armor right there because of the fact he glowed purple. But if you just use your Devil Breaker or Bringer, then it's just gonna stop them entirely. One thing that can be annoying is just dealing with a multitude of those enemies, though. So, yep. Alright, so I kind of know my strat for dealing with this character, or dealing with this boss, so yep. And over here is what I was talking about, where you can get to just arm yourself before actually fighting the boss, and this is where you call a character called Nico, which is the person who was driving the car that you saw in the beginning of the show, or you saw in the beginning of the live stream. Technically speaking, this character is a blacksmith that drives a RV, so that's something.
There's no such thing as too prepared.
Alright, so the way that I usually deal with this, to deal with the boss, is kind of start off with having punchline, which is basically a huge uppercut, or an explosive uppercut, and then after that I kind of switch to the more powerful Gerbera, so that way that I can stagger him when we fall onto the floor. There's going to be a couple of points where you're switching stages between the boss fight, which makes this boss fight a little bit more dynamic than others. I consider it pretty interesting to begin with. My main ones that I begin with are just these two, but from here on out it's more fun to be able to actually deal with the boss. Because I think that it's more important to use the arms when it comes to whatever boss you're dealing with. Personally, for me, with Goliath, I mostly use arms, but other ones like, for example, Malphas, which is a character that rides a giant chicken. You need to actually see, it's literally riding a giant baby chicken if no one knows that game. In case I might even show that boss off to begin with. She's also, if I'm right, in Bloody Palace. But carrying on. From here on out, after using these two arms, I kind of go crazy for the next few moments until we're on the outside of the ring. And from that point on, Goliath is able to charge at you. And specifically this arm over here, the one that I've been talking about that slaps people with lightning, with a giant lightning claw, it actually counters him and sends him flying back. So I'll use... yeah, from here on out, I just use Overture. I don't have many more after this, so I'm just gonna go buy some others. I've been playing this for way too long. Fuck it. Alright, so, carrying on. I'm gonna use Overture over here. I've already put that there, but whatever. Yeah, the rest will just be Overture from here on out. After this, I'm gonna buy a bunch of Devil Breakers. You never know when you're gonna need them. There's specific ones that I like a lot too. I said Rawhide is one of my favorites, but I mostly do like whatchamacallit. I also do like Tomboy, which is the name of the weapon for some reason, but I don't care. Alright, carrying on. I should have probably showcased the actual Overture arm. So instead, I'll actually just show it off for a moment, and then I'll go back to actually fighting the boss, because right now I have Punchline on my arm right now.
Yo, you just here to window shop?
Then after that, I'll showcase Punchline, and you know, I'll probably just showcase it right now too, right after, if I'm able to switch the... Yeah, I am able to switch it. Alright, perfect. So I'll just pick up this one over here to showcase what they can do for a short second. And then from there on, I'll actually go over to the boss afterwards. I'll showcase Rawhide. This arm over here is basically what you use before you actually got the ability to use the Devil Bringer, which is that blue arm that you keep on seeing where I'm smashing like enemies around. And you've already seen Gerbera, but I'm also going to show what it does when you use its ground attack. And then after that, also use Ragtime too. And also, just for added incentive, I'll use this one too. So just 6 arms in general. The rest are a little bit like funny. This one is basically the same thing as this one over here, but the only thing it does is just shoot a fork. It's basically like a comedy type of weapon. It's like a goofy kind of weapon. This one over here heals you when you use it, and if you break it, it adds a portion to your health. And this is literally just the Mega Buster from Mega Man. Alright, so carrying on. I didn't equip it. Please tell me that I equipped it. I don't think that I did. I might have to go back for a short second, damn it. The loading time does not make it help either. Yep. Forgot to do something. Well, at least I know how to remember not to accidentally break the arms, because to press L1 is one thing that breaks the arms too. And that can be annoying if you were to accidentally tap that. Alright, so let's just look at these for just a short moment for people who don't know. And then I'll go on to the boss. So, this first arm that I have, let me see if I can go back for just a moment, so that people can actually look at it. If anything, I'll just do it over here. So, over here you can see that this is Overture, basically. It says it over at the bottom right. It's actually the default arm that's for the game. And here's what happens when you just simply press the button circle. You just go ahead and, whatchamacallit, let me actually go back a little bit with the camera and whatnot also. Don't want to go too far. Alright, that's good enough. Is that good enough? The camera distance can be pretty far sometimes also, when you're in the middle of playing or when you're not in the middle of playing, so that's another thing that happens. I'm just going to try to bring it far for the fact that I do want to showcase how this arm goes. There we go, a lot better. So when you press circle, it actually does that slap with the lightning and whatnot. Now when you hold it, you're not around an enemy right now, but when you hold it, you actually lock onto an enemy, and then you stick the arm onto the character, or the enemy in general. And then from there on out, it continues to blink for a few moments until it explodes. But when you do shoot it with your revolver, it does explode regardless. So that's one thing to remember. Now I don't care how this goes, I'm just gonna break this shit. Next up is Punchline. Even though the Overture is actually pretty simple, it's actually very powerful amongst the others to begin with. And for Punchline, it's a bit different because of the fact that when you just simply press circle, it actually shoots the arm and whatnot. And when you do shoot it, whatever enemy that it locks onto, it continuously circles around them, punching them. That's probably why it's called Punchline, obviously. Now here's one thing that's pretty cool about Punchline. When you fire it and then hold circle, it comes back and then you can ride it like a skateboard. And not only does it continuously come back when you send it away by pressing X, you can also attack with the arm, but you do need to be careful because it does explode when you ride it for too long. Now here's the final thing about Punchline. When you hold it, here's actually the cool part that I like a lot. Then it goes into the air, then explodes from there on out. I would showcase it again, but that means having to get a bunch more of them. This next one is what made me really want to get into this game, and this is Tomboy right over here. Now, it's pretty simple from here. When you just simply press circle, it's a transformation kind of arm. When you transform it and you press circle, it gives you an alternate set of combos and attacks. And not only is your forward triangle or your forward heavy attack or basic attack is changed, it also sends you flying into the air, and it's a fiery, blazing attack. So here's what happens when you do the same exact thing like I just did like a couple of seconds ago. And not to mention that if you're attacking an enemy, you can continuously do it back and forth. And that was the attack that actually makes it go down onto the floor. Now, if you're high enough, you can continuously do that like you're a spinning top. And if you just press triangle like idly in the air, then it just goes down instantly regardless. And another thing too is that your revolver's changed also. I'll actually showcase what happens when you change the revolver also. It's pointed to the side, and because of Tomboy, it also has a blazing barrel that when you do fire, it's like something out of this world. So I'll showcase it for 1 second. And not to mention that you can also hold it, and it looks pretty cyberpunky from here on out too. And it makes the attack even more powerful, but when you do use a charged attack, it instantly goes out of gun mode, basically. And that's just about it so far. If you continuously press triangle, I think that there's another kind of attack. No, there isn't. If you hit an enemy, he actually does like a forward jump, like forward front flip. So that's something else. Now, when you hold circle, and you're using this for the process of destroying it, it's not too much different, but the attacks are heightened. Not to mention the shot also. Yeah, until the point where it destroys itself. Now earlier, you saw in the air when I pressed whatchamacallit, circle, or hold circle, and then it just shot a bunch of those petals everywhere. And when you hold circle for this on the ground, it's a little bit different. But the thing is that there's also a difference between these two Gerberas. The one that I had in my arm that was green, it was a bit different, that I could also jump around from the sides. But this one is a bit different because it's the GP01. When I press circle idly, I just instantly jump in the air, and when I press circle again, I jump right back into the floor. Basically, you can use it when you're in the midst of like attacking a character in the air. You press circle, and then you just bring them right down to the floor to continue like combo attacking them. So here's the attack when you hold circle on the floor.
Give him a little taste of the good shit.
You can move it around and whatnot, and it's just a complete and utter plasma ray. Now these are the two that I haven't used, unless it was the one over this one. And this one's a little bit different. You can just stop time in the designated area that you send it going to. The ball that it goes to just stops time in general. When you hold it, it's a bit different, by the way. That's literally just about it. But it does help to stop characters like the ones that had that armor when they would come back at me. after I would knock them back.
Take your time.
And this is the charged attack. It stops time for about let's say, like, I'm counting down right now. That's about 10 seconds right over there, which is, I would say, perfect. And the last thing that I haven't showcased was Helter Skelter. Helter Skelter is a bit different because all it does is just that it continuously, like, goes after whatever enemy, and it continuously just drills into whatever character. If I continuously do it, I think I push it back too. There we go. I should have probably used this for the sake of like training or whatnot, or showing them off, because it does consider it that it's hitting it, because if I was to do this against the wall, it's not going to do the same thing. Now, the thing that's different with Helter Skelter, if you hold circle, is actually a bit different than just using the arm to just drill someone's face in. And that was just about it. But yeah, Helter Skelter's and Ragtime's functions are a bit simple, but they do help. Ragtime is actually very good when it comes to fighting a character like Virgil and whatnot. Alright, that's just about it. I think I've talked enough. Alright, for some reason it kind of got rid of everything over here, so I'm just going to put them back. I'm just thinking about how I'm going to deal with Goliath, because I know how to deal with him in general. You know, I'll just kind of wing it. So, after that, I use Rawhide one more time. And from there on out, just Overture. When I say that Overture helps with going with against Goliath, I am really serious about that. Alright, so let's do this. Enough talking about this. How long have we even been, like, streaming? So even 43 minutes. Alright, I promise from here on out it's just nothing else but actual gameplay. And maybe explaining a little bit of the story, too. I'm gonna stay quiet for the cinematic, because it's gonna be one that comes right up. Should have probably charged my, whatchamacallit, my sword, but whatever.
Somebody call a doctor?
I wasn't expecting any survivors.
Sorry to disappoint you. Hey, you happen to see a guy around here, about this big, uses a cane? I was supposed to meet him. Did you snack on him?
Your blood is a very precious sacrifice. Leaving you would do me no good. I must have every last drop to rule the underworld as king.
King? You? I don't know. I mean, you're a big guy and all, but you seem more like a knuckle-scrapping fart in the lip than anything else. No offense.
Do you know who I am? I shall show you the wrath of the mighty Goliath.
Yep, and that is Goliath. The first boss that has actually been showcased in the game.
Yeah, maybe I will.
Whoops.
Sorry,
I'm not exceeded, so I can't just instantly go towards him. Alright, so in the beginning, I just instantly go after whatchamacallit, punchline, and that just uppercuts him straight into the air, which is actually helpful in my case. Let me get out of his way. Alright. And he's gonna hit me over here.
It's your grave. Jack it up all you want. Try this one for start.
Damn it. Tried to actually not get hit over here, but whatever. And I'm gonna use Tomboy Exceeded version. Let me see if I can hit him right over here. If I can get him. Damn it, too late. I thought that he was staggered, but whatever. Alright, let me get the hell up out of here. Because if I do not leave, he will eat me. So that is something. So there's a thing that he does when he makes it outside. The moment that he does, he begins to start charging. So that's another thing that he does eventually. So I'm just gonna hit him around for a little bit. Oh, he's actually let me get him. Let me grab his ass. And I'm gonna throw him into this building over here too. Alright, so over here I'm kind of doing a big mistake by letting him charge, but this is the thing that gives me the opportunity to be able to counter him back. Oh boy. Fine, if he wants to just hit me. Oh no, he wanted to jump towards me then charge. When he does that, he also, not to mention, can hurt me too. I think he's going to run after me now also. Come on, I dare ya. Come on. Come on. I'm waiting on you. I guess not. Alright, it's fine then. Damn it. He actually did charge at me. I'm gonna try this one more time, because of the fact that I kind of do like the fact that it's pretty cool. There you go. Now he can just carry on like the way that I wanted to begin with. Oh, now you want to continue charging? Do your worst, I dare ya. Okay, that was weird. But sure thingy. Here, because of the fact this is a big area, this can be avoided. Because this is whatchamacallit. There's some debris in the way over there. Let me see if I can counter this. Countered! Oh! Forget it. A little bit too late over there. I actually tried to grab him just now by accident. Fine then. One more time. There we go. Can you do it one more time? Or did you get a little bit tired? Damn it. Alright, fine then. I guess I just have to deal with this with no arm. He's lucky that he actually was able to take out all my arms and he was continuously able to shoot regardless. Let me get out of here. Now let me grab him over here. I'm gonna throw him over at this building. That was a little bit all over the place in all honesty, but what are you gonna do, you know? I was still kind of warming up here.
I curse my stars in a bit of grief and woe. That made my love so high, and me so low. Little wanderer, I be home.
Thought I was gonna have to pick you out of his, tummy teeth.
Pardon my delay. I was catching up on some reading.
Yeah, looks like a real page-turner. So, you think Dante's still in there?
If Urizen defeated him, then I expect he's not much more than Glyphod pollen by now.
What?
Glyphod. It's a tree that grows in the underworld. It thrives on human blood, and those whose blood it sucks, well, let's just say they don't turn out too well.
Well, in any case, we need to find out. If Dante's alive, we'll save him. If not, we don't.
Wait. First, we need to exterminate some Glyphod roots.
V, what the hell are you?
I know I'm late. Shut it! The roads were all clogged. Hey, you must be B, huh? Hey, you gonna get that? Ding, 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 right by your feet. Woo-wee! I'm gonna make something amazing out of this.
Did you just sniff that? Do you have any idea where that's been?
Up your butt?
Focus on the mission.
Alright, so that's the end of that mission. If anybody hadn't noticed, that was V, which is what the game explained. Alright, so I kind of had an idea as the cinematic was going on. Maybe, just maybe, that's a new picture. Maybe, just maybe, I will go through a couple of the story missions, and sometimes when I'm not dealing with a week of playing a specific type of genre of games, then I'll come back to doing the actual missions and whatnot, or something like that, so that people can catch up on what's going on. That idea will be implemented the next time that I do play this, because if people are just going to tune in, they're going to tune in to see me play the fucking story. Then I don't want people to just come in here, see me flail around with Goliath and whatnot, and then the next thing you know, like, then I decide to do missions and they just straight up go for missions. But for here, I'll just do Bloody Palace for a good portion of the time, which is annoying. But for one, I'm gonna deal with it with Super Nero. I was gonna say Virgil. I wish. And how long has this been going on so far? By the time that I die, because I cannot kill Virgil, because I'm fucking terrible, I will end off the stream for now. So if anyone does have questions, please ask them. But for here on out, it's just going to be a non-stop action. No cinematics, just fights, fights, and fights. Okay? Okay? Alright? Alright. Let's do this. Oh, you can't... You can also... In Bloody Palace is a bit different for Nero. You can't just go after, like, customization of your arms. You actually have to pick them up in the Bloody Palace map and everything like that. And Bloody Palace is basically survivor mode, but there's 100 stages, and the final stage is Virgil, which is the final boss of the game. He's a bastard. Alright, let's carry on. But yeah, I have all the super characters. I would prefer to use Super Dante, but that's just like a cheat. Maybe next time I'll showcase Dante's fights, or Dante's fighting style. But for now, I'll just use Nero. Now there's a big difference that I hadn't mentioned, because I wasn't going to, because I wasn't expecting to use him. But with Nero over here, he's got a couple of things that are integrated. One, his super version of himself. That's probably why I ended up nearly saying Virgil, because I'm trying to say version. First off, he already has his Exceed. His super trigger, basically where he turns into his transformed self, can stay that way forever, but there's a little bit of a downfall. When you do special attacks that can deplete the gauge of the trigger, it will not come back unless you get out of that transformation. Like here's one of the attacks that I have showcased but haven't done too often. This you just gotta press you gotta hold R1 back and triangle and circle at the same time, and you can charge it for a long period of time to make it even more powerful. Sometimes that's like an immediate killer for specific enemies. And yeah, that's just about it. As you can see, the wings that I got for the bringer they're just there perpetually, and he also has red eyes. So, you know, there's that. Alright, carrying on. I'm gonna pick up a couple of things here. Couple more arms. Why do they have Gerber over here? That's ridiculous. They probably have it in a different one. They do have Gerber, but not Gerber GP01. I guess I just suck it up then. And one more Overture. Overture is like my go-to to be able to save my ass, so yeah. Alright, so from here on out, you know, enemies are going to be the way that they are. Your goal here in Bloody Palace is actually to defeat the enemies as quick as you can to possibly get even more seconds so that you don't actually run out of time. Because if you run out of time in the midst of fighting enemies, you will lose, and then you have to restart. So, yep. Another thing about the fact that this is Super Nero is the fact that for his bullet gauge, he instantly just, when you fire all of his bullets, they instantly recharge themselves. And I think that he continuously has, no he doesn't, I was going to say I thought that he continuously has charged bullets. But no, that's, you're not going to always have a handicap like that. One thing that could be nice too is the ability to be able to charge your shot, but you still have to do that your damn self. So that's something too. Come here. That was by accident. Alright, one more thing. I'm going to go back and change the option of camera distance. Just make it normal. Let me check to see if the thing is going to go through now, because I'm seeing that I'm getting comments, but I'm not getting a damn thing. Let me close it, then open it back up. There we go. Alright. Read my message out loud, sir. Read it, please. Sorry I dipped on you. Oh, I forgot you sent me a message. Hang on, let me look at it. Finally. Are you happy now? Alright. I can see the 2 people watching now. That's pretty cool. Alright, carrying on. Come down here. Well, I was actually hoping to be able to break the scissors, and then I'll be able to use the bringer on her. But whatever. Oh, these knights, you've never seen them so far amongst this gameplay. They're actually pretty hard to deal with, or they can be, because of the fact that when their shield is faced towards you, they are annoying characters. Alright then. And now I'm seeing 3 people are watching. Hello to everybody that's been watching. Alright, these ones are a little bit different too. They come in when you're trying to go against Urizen again later in the game. They're called Baphomets, if I'm right. Or the Baphomets are the other ones that have the electricity. Whatever they are, they can be annoying if you do forget about them because of their ice powers. And once they do actually end up having the ability to hit you with their ice powers, the next thing you know, they do come back multitude of times. Alright, peace out, Flames. Just now, those were riots. And riots are a little bit different too. They're just like giant salamanders with the ability to slap you with their tails. There's 3 different variations of them. So there's that too. You've already seen those tentacles that sprawl out of the floor earlier. They really kind of don't do much. They can attack you and hurt you. And they're kind of annoying to begin with, but they're very weak. Now over here, what you're seeing, that's a giant thing that looks like a huge praying mantis, this is actually, whatchamacallit. I'm trying to remember what these things are. It's like the queen of these mantis creatures. Damn it, I could have actually hurt her. There we go, now I got her. I'm gonna actually kill these creatures that can heal it, so there's also that. Come here. Same things for you. Alright. Good thing is that I haven't had my arms depleted in any sort of way, so that's pretty cool on my behalf. Alright, these guys again. And I say the exact same thing that just brings me to my demise. I guess I still have the curse of accidentally pressing L1 when I do not want to. But whatever. Nice. I'll let my trigger kind of charge up a little bit over here. Eventually, if you're good enough, you can end up getting up to an hour of having extra time. 7 minutes already is good to begin with. Now these over here are the things that are the alternate version of the riots. They have the spikes on their back, and I kind of forgot about their name, but right now that kind of doesn't matter to begin with. I haven't even needed to use punchline yet. I've just been using nothing else but active, like actions. Now this is the alternate version of the knight because it's stronger and whatnot, and he's a little bit more annoying, especially when it comes to having to deal with him and other enemies and whatnot. But eventually, if you're just dealing with just him, he's a little bit of a pushover. I'm gonna just use whatchamacallit on him. How about you come here? Wow. Perfect. Okay then. I could have at least parried him right there. But hey, we were in the middle of actually doing an attack against each other. That's what you get for trying out things with Devil May Cry. Now, I'm pretty sure that that over there is a Baphomet. At least. Wow, it didn't die from one hit. That's pretty cool. It's a bit different than the goats because of the fact it uses lightning and whatnot. But just like that and the other ones, they are a little bit of pushovers. But that's only until you forget about them. This, I forgot about this one. I think it's called a Balrog. They're huge, obviously, and they have armor on top of them. So to actually begin to damage them, you have to break their armor. And then once you do that, they end up like sprawling out tentacles. But then you actually are able to use your bringer to just get a cinematic on them. They're pretty sluggish though, which is kind of a benefit on the player's behalf. Now, these are basically the bats that were before. The only difference is that they explode when you destroy them. Let me move away because they will hurt. There we go. They can also hurt other enemies too, which is pretty much of a benefit also. Now these ones, I do forget about what these guys are called too. They're called something in general. I'll probably just bring out the enemies later after this, after I probably die from Bloody Palace. But they have the ability to have 3 stages, because they also have a mask on their face. If anybody can see it clearly, they have this golden thing on their face, and I hate the fact to probably showcase it. That golden thing that they have on their face, it can change to different masks, and then they'll eventually have different functions. Like just now, it just changed its mask. I'm glad that I actually showed that happening just now. And after that, they actually have bigger arms, and they're not normal than the way they were just now, because they would have still attacked regardless. The third stage after that is where the eyes that were on their body end up detaching from the enemy, and they explode when they touch you. Not to mention that they track you too. Trust me, that is some shit. What is this next enemy over here? Oh, this one's a Fury. Basically, it's like the Blitz of Devil May Cry 4. If anyone doesn't know what a Blitz is, basically it's an enemy that takes timing and the ability to understand when it does attack you. But when you do parry it, it makes it weaker. There we go. Let me see if I can get him. Damn it. That's what I get for being hit by it. It's whatever. But yeah, Furies can completely just teleport over and over again. They basically use shadow manipulation, and from there on out, they continuously go into their shadow form and attack you from there. Thus, you're unable to attack them until they successfully come out of their form by attempting to attack you. And if you parry them, then that's a success on your part. You could be able to, like, cause some damage onto them. But if you do not kill them in the first few hits, then they would just go right back into the circuit of attacking you by using shadows. Now, this one that's got a lot of red on it, I haven't explained it. These ones, they don't do much. They don't even attack. But they do explode in the currency that is in the game, or blood orbs, what you would call it. If this actually does continue to go on until, I don't know, 11:30, then I will definitely end this off. My fault. Yeah, 11:30. Jesus Christ, it's 11:13. Good thing about dealing with this is the fact that I can actually use as many arms as I wish, because I'm going to end up dealing with more after this, too. Oh boy. Let me get away. Please do not charge me. That would be the dumbest thing to do. I'm actually trying to get over to Overture so that I can actually counter him. Well, first I'm gonna do this. There's one thing too, when you continuously press square in your transform mode, you continuously end up having like blades that come out of the trigger form, and it just continuously goes after whatever enemy that you have that's aggro towards it. Come on, there we go. And I'm gonna do this to him. Well, he ran away. Fine then. Alright. You're about to die regardless, so I'm just gonna let you do whatever you wish. And you're gonna do that. Okay, that's cool with me too. It's not gonna stay around forever. Alright then.
Let's see. Which one wants to play?
Come on.
Come on.
Well, that happened. Alright, fine then. You wanna use whatchamacallits? You wanna use zoning attacks? Fine by me. I keep on hoping that eventually he just charges right at me, but I think that this game is actually reading the things that I do. Maybe, maybe not. I have no damn clue. I've already gotten up to 15 minutes of saved time. There's no way that you can stall and be able to actually deplete your entire gauge of how much time that you have. Pretty damn sure about that. Unless you purposely do it, but by that time, if you continue to just run around and try to get out the way of attacks, you might just eventually die after 15 minutes. Depending on who you are, unless you're a very skilled player or some shit like that. Then I just may as well shut the hell up. And use this again too. One more of this. Actually, screw that. This. And this over here. I always basically use Overture as a walls between the two others, between like all the other arms that I have, because if so, then I'm able to just know what barriers that I have when it comes towards like a safe haven of what to use, because I don't like being left with an arm that I'm not too familiar with that I know how to use. Like if I was to be left with Tomboy and I'm dealing with a dire situation, I'm gonna probably die. Overture can do things like parry, you know, stagger opponents, get them the hell away from you. Tomboy may be able to do the same, but that probably requires you having to be within the air. I actually tried to grab him, but whatever. I killed him before the grab was over. That's alright. Alright, this can be a little bit annoying. Because of the fact that these things can actually hit you. Move. Okay. When they nearly explode, it causes me anxiety, I swear. Alright, another Baphomet. And then the other two types of goats. Another Fury. And with other enemies too. Isn't that amazing? I'm trying to grab you. Haha. Wasn't even touched there. I think one thing that might help against going against the Fury is actually probably continuously pressing square and double trigger. Okay, now I remember what these things are called. Alright, so the ones that are smaller than this are just called average impulsas. E-M-P-U-S-A. Basically. That's how you spell them. Impulsas. And what their main gist is that they can suck blood from the floor, they can become bigger. That doesn't make them more powerful, by the way. And because of that, they can just become more annoying because of the fact that if there's many of them, and if they're probably harder to deal with, then I guess just good luck to you. But that thing that I just now fought is a Queen Empusa, and not only do they suck blood, but blood gives them armor, which is also another thing. It's not too serious, the armor that gives it, but it is a factor in general to just deal with. I accidentally grabbed this guy. Okay then. Actually, let me stop this guy from doing whatever he was just now doing, because I don't want anybody to charge right now. And also, you can break their shields too.
Okay, okay. That was a good one.
Right, so far I'm just seeing a riot. If I'm right, these things over here with the spikes are called a clash of some sort. Oh boy. I'm happy that I actually broke that. That was a bit scary. They can be a little bit scary when they do that whirlwind type of thing. Like I said, those things are very easy to handle. Just waiting for the trigger to gauge. Okay, there we go. After this, let me pause the game for just a moment because I do have to charge my phone too. I also have to refrain from pressing R2 on the ground because I can accidentally like put myself in a stasis if I'm stupid enough. I was like, he wasn't hit by it, I'm just gonna hit him in general. Who else is here? Oh, there's more. Oh boy. Oh, there's an enemy that I haven't talked about yet. These things over here, the two of them that have these scythes on their arms. Wow, they're actually going hard on me right now. It's nothing like they're going to be able to do anything. But eventually you can end up having a point where you're dealing with just these two creatures because of the fact that they can also go in and out of existence too, which can be annoying if you're not careful. If I'm right, they're called summoners. They can literally summon other creatures. There we go. That's something. Devil May Cry game is a hack and slash cinematic, practically. RPGs are a game where you completely have to rely on actually getting a higher level. With this game, it just matters with what attacks that you have, and at this point, not even weapons, because Nero doesn't change weapons. But Dante can change his weapons, and possibly even Virgil now, because he came out for the PS5 version, which I still think is unfair. Give me a second, I'm charging my phone. That's what happens when you leave it on a live stream for the entire time. We've already gotten up to 25 minutes, too. Alright, carrying on. At least I also haven't depleted an arm yet. Would you look at that? Let me see if I can get a sweet surrender real quick, because that'll also help with getting me some health. I don't think that there is one here. No, I'm not a lucky man today. Whatever. It's okay. It's totally fine by me. I even looked around twice. It's not here. I guess I just suck it up. I always have bad luck with this. And that's because of the fact I just like I went to my phone for just a minute, then forgot how to play. Now I gotta find a way to get that arm back. Another thing is that beforehand, the thing that you have to deal with when it came to going into Double Trigger with the old DMC games was the fact that you actually had to press R1. Now you can just, whatchamacallit, you can just press the up button to actually go into the transformation mode. And the next thing you know, you're in your transform mode. But here, if you press L1, you destroy your arms that you have, especially if you're Nero. Now, if you're Dante, I don't think that. I think you just transform into your transformed self, and that can end up becoming like confusing too. All right, now 2 of these things. Whoops. How did I accidentally send it the other way? Oh, I wasn't locked on. Did I really just lock onto the eye? Oh, that's that thing that happens that these characters do. Well, these enemies do. There we go. But at least I wasn't hurt. Alright, carrying on. I'm going to destroy this one first, because these things can also dig into the floor. And once they do so, then they disappear. Wow, the game considered that quick, so I got a minute from that. We're about to get into 30 minutes already. Oh, this is going to be annoying. In fact, I'm going to just stop time for a moment. Because these guys can really be annoying. Just 2 of them is okay, but when you're dealing with 3 of them, they could be a lot more aggressive. Because there's only so much as you can end up dealing with. Alright, that's good. I think the timer also stops for a short period of time too. Well, not stops, but it slows down. So yep, that was actually pretty interesting on my behalf. I never tried using that on a bandwidth of those enemies. No, this is going to be easy enough. It's going to be like stomping roaches. Like I said. Good thing is that they also heal you when you destroy them. Another Balrog. Whoops. Okay. Let me see if I can... There we go. when I do hurt this thing too, it also hurts the others, not to mention. Let me see if I can attack all of them at once. It's probably not going to bounce off the walls, so... Alright then. I think I'm gonna just deal with one more boss and then I'm just gonna end this off for now. It's already getting late to begin with. P.S. I like using that move, so yeah. Also, not to mention that when you do quit Buddy Palace, it does save its progress for you, so that's something too. Oh no. There we go. Alright, so here's just another boss over here. After this, I'm just gonna finish this off. I might even kill it quicker than I expected. Alright then. Oh boy. Hang on. There we go. Oh boy. I gotta destroy this quickly. There we go. Now I get to do this one more time. And so far, that is just about the end of that. Alright then, that's enough fighting for the night. Got up to about 34 minutes here. I'm not gonna just literally end this off right here, right now. One thing's for sure, I'm gonna just, quit and return to menu, save the current state of the game, return to menu. Okay, that's better. Yep. But yeah, one thing's for certain, I'm not gonna just leave this unadjourned. I'm gonna just show the enemies, maybe possibly the things that they can do, or their names, because I can forget their names once in a while. And then yeah, that'll just be about it for the night. That was a pretty suspenseful Bloody Palace run. Did anyone ever tell you that you look like a Chicago drill rapper? Chicago drill rapper. In all honesty, I'm trying to think about it. Chicago drill rappers, do they have dreads? I don't even want to explain how I look in general either. One day someone just looked into my archives like, oh, the guy who's Avius, he has dreads. That's terrifying. That means we're this close to finding out who he really is. I don't even know why I'm running through my weapons. Alright, start. Alright, so for starters, I usually also have the Fury on normal mode for training. If I put him on enemy settings and then just let him do whatever he does, of course no damage, then you know, it's gonna load and then he's gonna just appear and do what he does. But before we actually do the things that we do, I wanted to show how I kind of get ready to deal with Furies and whatnot, because there's a certain time point where you're able to just like whatchamacallit, where you're able to actually parry the moves that they do. There you go. That's why I start. I start to continuously try my best to just like parry him. I'm gonna get cocky and do it one more time. There we go. But yeah, that's just about it. Eventually I'll start doing that for a very long period of time. Alright, so let's start out with ones that hadn't been seen so far. And Pooses have been shown, green and Pooses have been shown, those are the ones that fly. Red and Pooses are the ones with the crystals on their back. The Queen is the giant one. The Riot is already been seen, and what's over here is the Chaos. And that's the one with the spikes on its back. Now, not to mention that they can normally just fight. They can slap you with their tail by spinning, but they can also continuously do that Sonic move where they just continuously roll in whirlwind. And they can be staggered, and you can also break the spikes off their back. I don't know if it's possible to do so here. I don't think that it's possible. I think you have to be able to do that when they're in the middle of whatever they do. Let me see if I can just make them do so. By the way, every time that I load any sort of action, then it just restarts for a moment. Come on, do what you need to do. Yeah, it's not able to break their back. Well, at least here it isn't. Because if it was, then it would have instantly done so regardless. But it does make a slicing noise as if it's hitting metal, because these blades are made of metal to begin with. But carrying on. When you do break their spikes, it does show and everything like that, then they can't do that again. And it's not like they grow back to begin with. Alright, so I was mistaken about one thing too. So let's just look at these real quick before we finish this off. These over here, they're actually called the Baphomets. Oh boy, I left it on enemy settings. Oh yeah, their enemy actions are off. Alright, so it's actually just doing whatever it does. I almost thought it was about to attack me. But yeah, when they do appear, they literally just sit here just like this. And I think this is possibly the most creepiest, yet coolest thing that it does. I think that the other enemy that's like this also does the same. But personally, I think this is like an aesthetic. You can use this for a profile picture if you wanted to. Alright. But yeah, those are the Baphomets, and they summon ice. And one more thing over here, do not leave that on. One more thing over here is a Lusaccia. Lusaccia. Sounds Spanish. I think that's just another sort of Goetia, of any sort. And they're a lot worse. They're a little bit more grotesque looking, but they don't have any legs. And their only difference is that they actually summon lightning. I would showcase it, but you know what? Screw it, I'll actually showcase it. No reason not to in the first place. I'm actually going to let it hit me for whatever reason. They teleport away, they aggro on you, and here's what it does. It's like an arcane reaction, really. But then it just makes them weak afterwards. If you're dealing with a ton of them, they can be annoying, because then they could do it one after one. There goes the lightning powers that it uses, because of the fact that it is purple. Not to mention that it does also use ice, too. So it uses an arcane explosion, lightning, and ice. And it just does that for a duration of time, until it does that. And then it shoots an ice spike at you, which freezes you. If you let Baphomets continuously do that to you, they can freeze you, but they cannot do it like how that creature can, because it's a charged attack. And here comes the fire. Pretty interesting. It's almost like it has nearly all of the elements except for wind. But its last element could just be arcane. I'm waiting for it to do that arcane explosion one more time. But no, it's just going to use fire. Come on, are you going to do it? Nah, alright, cool. Alright, so I was kind of wrong about what I called Balrog earlier, too. Balrog is actually the name of the arms that belong to Dante, which is a weapon. It's arms and legs. Good enough for me, the enemy settings are off, so it's not going to attack me. But these are called behemoths, basically. I'm also pretty sure that I cannot break off these enemies' armor and whatnot, but I can attack it and do whatever I want to it. It's got all these chains around it, and yeah, it's very creepy. Even when you take off all the chains, it just ends up turning into an even more grotesque creature. But nevertheless, the only thing that they do is just charge at you and then just thrash around. So there's nothing that's too special about them other than the fact that they're big. Now, this enemy over here, they've been seen already before, but I forgot its name because it's a very ominous name. They're called the Nobodies, and they have about 3 masks. In combat, it's already been shown kind of that they do attack normally when they have the golden mask that's over here. When they have another mask that's red, this giant arm over here gets bigger, and when they have another mask that's kind of green, these eyes that are on its back kind of detach from itself, and then they trace your character, and then they explode when touching you. That's pretty simple for what they do. Come on, do your worst. Just gonna do this for a short duration of time until it changes, I think. Unless it doesn't. Maybe if I add enemy damage, it'll probably eventually change. Select on for enemies to take damage. There we go. Alright, so now that kind of hurt him a little bit. Is it going to change? There we go. It takes out another mask and then it puts one onto itself. And then it gets an even bigger arm. Which is kind of interesting. I actually wonder if it can hurt me. No, it still can't. Alright, whatever. Alright, it's gotten back, so it's gonna... No, it's gonna try to still attack me. Not to mention that the arm can also grab you too if you're not careful. That was very interesting. I haven't seen that attack. I think I need to hurt it a little bit more to be able to, whatchamacallit, to be able to actually switch its, thing, its mask. Alright, now it's taking off the other mask, and now it's putting on this green one right over here. And now, it just drops these eyeballs. Simple enough. Throws them around. And I think if you're far away enough, you could just continuously throw them around. There we go. Wow, that's actually pretty interesting. It can still hurt me regardless. Alright. Every time you kill them, it just resets. So, off. These have already been seen. Not to mention these bat creatures. They're just pyrobats and then hellbats. Pyrobats are just normal. Hellbats have fire. But these are the last ones I'm going to showcase. The two knights over here. So I would probably show off how they attack. It'd be pretty interesting too. This is a Scudo Angelo, if I'm right. Yeah, this is Scudo Angelo. And it still resets whatever. Okay, fine then. Alright. And they're easy, generally speaking. You can break their shield. I know that I cannot right now. But if I put it on attack mode, then I can regardless. So there's also that. I'm gonna just showcase what it's like to actually go against it. First off, they're simple. All they do is really attack. I think if you do break their shield, they do probably a little bit more. I don't want to accidentally kill it. They have a little bit more charged attacks. Basically, it's like a Roman's type of attack form. He does it continuously too. Can I stop him? No, I can't. Interesting. So, technically speaking, he's more aggressive when he's like that. He can also hit me because of the fact that he's really going in. So he's like gonna just do a mixture of heavy attacks along with like regular continuous attacks like that. Yeah, that's just about all. Alright. Last but not least is this one guy over here. The difference with this and the others is very big. This over here is called the Proto-Angelo. Not only is its sword bigger, it doesn't need a shield, because the sword is its shield. This thing is like a great sword. It looks like a character from Soul Calibur, technically. And generally speaking, he's a lot more harder to defuse. His actual character can be a little bit of armatic also, because he has a mixture of lightning and a few other elements too, like a little bit of arcane also. So I'll just showcase how he fights. There's another little addition to this creature too. He can also choose to parry you if he gets tired of how you are reacting to him. Sometimes he gets faster eventually also, but he can't take bullets too well. But eventually he can do things like that if he gets tired of you. The best way to be able to handle him is actually attacking him from behind. So there's that. Or parrying him, but then again, he still will continue to parry you. No matter what direction you're in. The best way is to not actually use combos on him, because for some reason, he's able to actually handle getting dealt with. Until you stagger him, which he's 10 times easier to be dealt with. Like from there, he actually was able to just take all those hits because of the fact he was staggered. I'm gonna see if I can get away from him for a second, because he does this thing where he charges. Or not. I think this is because of the fact that he's by himself. As he menacingly walks up to me. There, he's actually growing a little bit of his attacks too. Not to mention. Okay then. Funny thing is that they're like one of the only ones that actually speak. Alright, so I'm gonna just put this on one more thing. Just reset it to normal. We're just not doing anything. I wish I was able to showcase this one more thing. What? Sorry. The one more thing is because of the fact that unfortunately he needs to be around other Scudo Angelos to be able to charge them. He does this thing where he moves back and he just basically charges his sword up to a point where basically the other Scudo Angelos become a little bit quicker, faster, and you know, just stronger regardless. Quicker with actually like blocking for the shield, because you know this one doesn't need it because his sword is the shield. And yeah, he can do that a barrage of times, multiple times. It's pretty interesting, the fact that he has to be around other, like, Angelos to actually give them power. But, either way. That's Dante's Sin Devil Trigger mode, which is just the last of what I have to show. I forgot I also don't have, complete, whatchamacallit. Didn't activate this thing. There we go. He can fly very high too, not to mention. And he does this thing where he does like a void charge on the enemy. So that's also something. And that's generally how it looks like. I would showcase what it's like with all of his moves, but maybe at another time. You can also teleport a lot quicker too. It doesn't matter how far you are. In fact, the farther you are, the faster either. See? Just like that. If you can lock onto them, you're there in a second. Alright, so either way, we do something. There you go, that's a super move right over here. And that also takes him out of his sin mode too. Alright, so that's just about it. Let me go to the title screen and say goodnight. I can see that 2 people were watching this whole time. I actually commend you guys for staying around. I know damn well it's been well enough over 2 hours. It's been 1 minute and 57. Well, 1 hour and 57 minutes. Good enough. It's almost like opening and closing a book, really. Alright, so we will be back on this game. That's a definite. But for now, the next time that I do get on live stream will be to play FPSs. I do not know which is going to be the first one to play, to be honest. Have a good night. See, because you said it to me, I just said it back easily. But when it comes to playing an FPS, I might play either Apex Legends, a couple other games. I'm really want to play Titanfall 2 mostly, because I was playing that for a duration of some time also. And playing that for hours can be fun also. I could literally restart that whole game and it could be an experience within itself. Because I was playing that like last year during Christmas time, and that was pretty fun because it came out for free on PlayStation Plus, and I got it instantly. I was like, I'm not gonna let that chance go by. I've always liked the idea of Titanfall, so I just basically had a dream come true. And it loads to play Halo. Fix this up. Okay. But yeah, as I was saying before the cinematic came up, like Titanfall 2 would be a good game, but I might go to COD or something like that. I saw someone play Halo if that were only possible. You know I'm on PlayStation 4. Don't you play around. I'm definitely going to play Destiny sometime soon. I don't know what else. But, generally speaking, I'm trying to remember what others that I can play. Screw it, I'm going to check. I'm so sorry. Now, I also have the ability to play a Rainbow Six Siege. And a couple other things, too. I'm just going to it takes downloading it to be able to do so. Maybe one day I'll play GTA 5 just first person. Now that means having to do missions. I'd rather play high-octane things, because GTA is not high-octane. It is like a dopamine fest, with having money and being able to buy cars and race, but what not. But, yeah. Expect tomorrow to be an FPS game and whatnot. And, from then on will be others. I'll decide by tomorrow what I'm going to play, though. Nevertheless, this is the end of the stream. For all those who have watched, thank you very much. Please come back the next time that we do stream and ask as many questions as you like, talk about whatever you like, and I'll definitely have a conversation with you as I play. And yeah, so far that's just the end of it. I'm happy I got to play a hack and slash today, because it was pretty... I was actually really able to speak a lot here. Nevertheless, thank you all for watching. Please like and subscribe, and until we meet again.